You are in the Temple of the Rants, where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's from co-pilot Coco. He says, "Hey Digi, I don't know if this is too similar to any other topic, but do a rant about dissociating from people based on ideology. I recently had an experience involving the timeless fanservice slash lolicon debate with someone I consider my friend, but I ultimately decided cutting them off would have been an overreaction. However, I still feel like I did myself a disservice on principle. Update, we completely broke it off anyway. It came later. Personally, I don't I don't want to cut off anybody for reasons like disagreement about that kind of stuff. Like, I don't think that those kind of differences are irreconcilable, and those people don't go anywhere. Like, people who ideologically disagree with you, cutting them off out of your life doesn't change their mind. It doesn't, contribute anything to your life. You're basically just cutting somebody out because you just don't want to have to hear their stance anymore, or you don't think that they respect you enough if the way that they feel flies in the face of your identity. I understand those kind of things, but again, these people aren't going anywhere, and you really have to ask yourself, like, is this more important than my friendship? In some cases it might be. I have unfortunately had people who, because of some of the hot takes and stances that I have on Twitter, and because of some of the communities that have a problem with me, some people who I consider to be good friends have pretty much stopped talking to me, and the only reason I know of is exactly this. People who I was cool with for a long time, but just, I guess, the way that I approached their politics or, issues of identity and stuff, they just didn't like the way that I approached it, and especially if they're a part of a community that is staunchly against me and they want to protect their relationship with that community, they'll ultimately choose that community over continuing to associate with me. And it saddens me a lot because it's not something I would do to somebody else. I have never cut somebody off because I disagreed with them or because their ideology frustrated me. This is partly because I don't really hold a lot of extremely strong beliefs. I don't really have anything that is like, I have such a hardline stance on this that I'll never be swayed, and you disagreeing with me offends me. I am more intrigued by people having, opposite opinions or dissenting thoughts. Like, as long as they're not doing anything to fuck with me, as long as they are not actively trying to make my life worse or like trying to hassle me, or if they don't decide that they can't respect me anymore on the bit. Like, I mean, obviously if somebody starts treating me like shit because of something I believe, I'm going to stop associating with them because they're being an asshole. But like, I think we can have civil disagreement and, continue to work together as long as you're not doing anything that offends me. There's a huge difference between having a set of beliefs and, taking actions that I feel are unforgivable, So, yeah, from my perspective, it's just kind of like, I would prefer to be able to continue the conversation with that person if I really care about them. I want to know why they feel the way they do. I want to be able to try to reach an understanding, to, see if one of us might move our position on it, and if not, to continue having discussions on it as long as we can be reasonable about it. And there are some people who can't. There are some people who, once they've formed their opinion on something, they are never going to listen to anything you say. They are always just going to keep, repeating it. They're going to start disrespecting you for having the opinion you have. I think those people are shitty people, people who I wouldn't want to be friends with in the first place. So if somebody's acting that way, yeah, I might distance myself from them, but it's not because of their beliefs. It's because of the way they act, And I hope that if people who are friends with me disagree with me about something, that they'll be willing to have a conversation about it, I am somebody who is willing to be swayed. I have obviously changed my positions on lots of things over time, be they broad and sweeping or small in scale. And like, if you feel very differently from me about something, I want us to be able to hash it out. And I have some people who, I've disagreed with, and we argue about it for a while, and then it just kind of goes silent because neither of us is moving the other person. and we just kind of, move on and are like, maybe we'll talk about this again. Maybe one of us will find the words to make this make sense. Maybe this debate will come up and we'll continue trying to hash this out because I care about you as a person and I want to think that, you're making the right decisions for yourself or for the world, but again, you don't make any progress by cutting people off. You're just distancing yourself from somebody who does not cease to exist. They do not cease to have their opinions. They, you are accomplishing literally nothing other than, your own comfort, which is fine if you just don't want to be around people who, who believe things that you are not okay with. I understand not everybody has time to fucking be fighting all the time or to be trying to convince other people of things they believe in, but like, I just think it's unfortunate. I think that communication should always continue because it's the only way that progress can be made. You can't get rid of those people, A block button doesn't make someone disappear. It just puts them out of sight and out of mind for the time being.